Today is Saturday, the 22nd of March 2025, and D&J Drives is saying good afternoon to all viewers and subscribers. We're starting today's drive in Oistins, Christchurch, and we're going to drive you all along the coast, the south coast into Bridgetown, and then make our way along the west coast, which is along Highway 1, which goes into Highway 1B, if I'm not mistaken. So we just turned there. This is the little bus depot that connects passengers. There's a Speightstown bypass bus, or you can go all the way into Bridgetown from here, and there are many ZRs as well. The number 11 ZRs come here from here. If you look straight ahead, that's the Oistins car park, and just beyond the trees, well, this bus is now blocking it, but you can actually see the crest of Oistins Hill. So we are taking a drive this busy Saturday afternoon. It's 30 degrees Celsius in Barbados. It's a hot day, and it's a nice day to go to the sea and to have a nice casual drive as we are doing. We will probably pause the drive along here because of the high volume of traffic, so that we don't use too much recording time just sitting in traffic. So when necessary, we'll do so. We've done a number of drives through Oistins, so there's nothing much to add at this point, but take a look at the stalls on the right where vendors, hawkers are selling their produce and clothes, and then to the left is the Oistins Bay Garden. You can take a look at what the KFC drive-through does. All of these cars are waiting to turn into that fast food establishment, creating another line of traffic here. This is Highway 7, but it's basically 2 lanes up and down. So when you have to turn off into KFC, it creates that backup. Same as Chefette. You'll see Chefette in a little while from now. To the left is the Berinda Cox Fish Market, and right here along this drive is the coast, the south coast of Barbados. You can see that truck, that open back truck, is turning into Chefette. Well, their line tends to be a bit faster, but sometimes the line comes out onto the road the same way, and it creates this backup as well. So to your left, if you look carefully, you will get to see the lovely green/blue Barbados Sea. It's very inviting. We're driving right along the coast. You can see some of it there. It's 2:40 p.m. by the way, in the afternoon, Saturday 22nd March 2025. Busy Saturday afternoon. So just enjoy this drive with us. We're doing all coast today. We will go as far as possible up the west coast. We're hoping that we don't encounter any problems, because there's a big march today on the west coast from Fuchsia to Holetown. There's a big march in protest of government's plans to sell the Holetown Administrative Centre, which we've covered. We've covered this before in our Holetown drives, where we pointed out the area of the police station and the courts and all of those various places. It's a mint green building. The government is selling that to a developer who is going to put a 5-star hotel, and there's a whole big protest going on in Barbados, debate in Parliament even, and there's a march today, an organized march in protest of that development. So we are hoping that has dissipated by the time we get there, so that we can just have a nice peaceful drive up on the coast. This area is what do you call it? Slipped me. And then we're going into Maxwell. Sorry, Welches. We just exited Welches Christchurch. And I always like to make the point that there are 3 Welches in Barbados. There's Welches Christchurch, Welches St. Thomas, Welches St. Michael, as far as I know. So we have exited Welches, Welches, and we have entered Maxwell Christchurch. Let's turn to the right here. Fair Homes Gardens, that's where the guy sells Christmas trees every year. He does a whole big video, a recording from Canada to show when he's choosing the trees, and then he shows the whole thing about when they get shipped and cleared in Barbados every year, and then he launches his Christmas tree sales. So we're a bit further off from the coast, because everything to our left, there's development in there. And if we were to turn off the coast road, you would get to hotels. So we're just going to do coast. Just to give you a little idea into what's behind here, but this is the car park for Sandals. Just pulled off a bit of the coast so that you can see what's happening to our left. So if we are not on the actual coast, there's development inland, and it's essentially hotels that then back the ocean. So we're still on the coast for the most part, but on what you would call the coast road. Right, so this is the Sandals Resort on the left of us, and all of these tourists that you can see walking here, they're most likely going to have a dip in the sea. Nipped off there just to show you that, but we will remain on this coast road. So all to the left, development, and then the beach. So if we had continued along that road, by the way, we are about to pass the Roman Catholic Church on the right, St. Dominic's Roman Catholic Church, one of the few Catholic churches in Barbados. If we stayed along that road where we turned off, we would have been in Dover. And Dover is that area that feeds off from St. Lawrence Gap. So if you are familiar with St. Lawrence Gap and you just continue to the end of St. Lawrence Gap, you would enter Dover and you would drive all the way down and turn up that road where we were. And not only that road, but there are several turnoffs there. Well, not several, but there are a few turnoffs from Dover to get back to just where we were by the Sandals Resort. So at this intersection here, this is the bottom of the Errol Barrow Highway. Top Rock it is called. This left would take us into Dover and the tail end of St. Lawrence Gap. So we're going along the coast road. And you can see there are large hotels like this one here on the left. Davy Southwinds. Officially in St. Lawrence, this is St. Lawrence Christchurch. And if you entered Davy Southwinds and walked to the back of it, it deposits you into St. Lawrence Gap. So St. Lawrence Gap is to our left, and then the water. Of traffic here. All of this is still St. Lawrence. To the left there you can see the famous Yellowbird Hotel. St. Lawrence Primary School on the right. This left turn right here is the entrance of St. Lawrence Gap. So every tourist who knows Barbados, I dare say every tourist who knows of Barbados knows about St. Lawrence Gap. It's traditionally the place to party and have a lot of nightlife and food and pubs. It has changed over the years, but it is still noteworthy. We've just entered Worthing Christchurch. To the right, the Graham Hall Nature Sanctuary, as it was called. It says there's a sign saying coming soon, so it's supposedly being redeveloped into what I don't know. Here's Lisa's Doubles and Roti on the left. The closest thing you would get to doubles in Barbados, arguably. Here we have this little court in Worthing. This is a nice little shopping area. And notice hotels all along to the left, or if not, some sort of accommodation. nice establishment here. Worthing View Beach Villas. Lovely place. Lovely hideaway for short-term and long-term rental, and it's right on the sea. Some nice villas with pool and other resources. It's very nice. So note the continuous flow of traffic. This set is going into Christchurch. We are leaving Christchurch to go into Bridgetown. It's just constant traffic. Just look at all this traffic. Coming up to another popular beach here, the Accra beach. Some people call it Rockley beach. The area is Rockley, but I know it as Accra beach. Some nice water there, nice water. Blue waters. You have Chefette Rockley here on the right, one of the most popular Chefettes in Barbados. You have the Accra taxi stand on the left. Right here. And then of course you have the Accra Hotel. This is the Accra Beach Hotel on the left. We will just nip in and out. You can see the flags there, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and the Accra flag. I think it is a Trinidad and Tobago owned hotel. And right across from Wine World and Lewis Tower, Lewis Drug Mart, an establishment that was established by Mr. and Mrs. Alan Lewis, the late Alan Lewis, and now owned and operated by his son and wife, Mrs. Lewis. So David Lewis, the pharmacist there. It's a very big accomplishment for a family that started a small pharmacy that is now a well-known and successful and thriving operation with a pharmacy and several offices there. There are doctors' offices on all of the different floors and other operations. And right next to Wine World, and then Bubba's Sports Bar. This Bubba's Sports Bar was in operation, I think, when we patronized there recently. There was a celebration, if not 28, maybe 30 years they were celebrating. Well known, it's a sports bar, well known for having events, sporting events, and they do a lovely breakfast, and food is good generally there. So you have Coconut Walk on the right, and of course as we continue to drive, everywhere on the left it's just hotels, restaurants and private dwellings. So this is Hastings, by the way, and to our right is a new restaurant that was opened recently. Everybody takes opportunities to establish anything in hospitality along here. There's an arcade here, Slots Arcade, the Fast Line. This is Narrow Restaurant on the left. Lovely restaurant and lounge, great sushi. It's almost like if we're doing an advertisement for some of these places. Take a look at the left here. You can see the ocean in all its splendor. Camera isn't quite capturing that angle because the purpose of this channel is to showcase the road network, so we are more focused on the road so that anyone can use these drives to find their way around Barbados. But some landmarks here, you could see there's KFC on the left, right opposite a Sol gas station, and then the famous Lanterns Mall right after KFC. So this is Lanterns Mall on the right. The famous tapas restaurant on the left. TAPAS, tapas. Right ahead you can see a very large hotel under construction. As we make our way past KPMG on the right. And this is Hastings Rocks on the left, lovely sea view. And this large hotel is going up here on the left. It's due to be completed soon. It's going to transform this area, and on the right here is where the parking will be. A nice little hotel on the left here as well, Soka Hotel, and all of these properties on the left are for Airbnb. All along the left here, breaking onto the beach. Marriott, Courtyard Marriott on the right. Coconut Court Hotel in green here, mint green on the left. This lovely building approaching on the right is the Hastings and Worthing police stations. So the Worthing police station was closed down, as well as the Hastings, and they were both merged into this operation here. And quite creatively, LOL, is called the Hastings and Worthing police station. This is the Savannah Hotel on the left, which was in the news recently as it was sold or is being sold. This is where the Hastings police station was there on the left. And the famous Garrison Savannah. This area here is where Barbados was declared independent on the 30th of November 1966. And on the left here is St. Anne's Fort. This is where the Defense Force is headquartered. And we make a nice entry into St. Michael. So we just left Christchurch. We have Barbados Light and Power on the left, and the Financial Services Commission on the right. And this left turn is the entrance here that we covered in a previous drive to take one into the Hilton Hotel. These vehicles turning in here are going in that area of the Radisson Hotel, Radisson Aquatica, and Hilton. We just passed Indian Grill, a nice place for roti, and the Barbados Yacht Club. That Indian Grill, they do a really good roti. The other place for good roti in Barbados is on the west coast, close to Fuchsia. Well, actually, we're going to pass that, so we'll point it out. Now, how did I know we exited Christchurch and entered St. Michael a short while ago? Well, oh, look at your flags. These people, this establishment here has flags, and the Trinidad and Tobago flag is flown upside down, and we stopped to let them know some time ago, but they haven't fixed it. So when we were researching one of our Exploring the Parishes drives, we found this exact spot where Christchurch ends and St. Michael begins. And we just passed the Prime Minister's office, by the way. So when you pass St. Anne's Fort, you actually exit Christchurch somewhere along there. I mean, you can't know the exact spot, but we have a general idea when we exit Christchurch and enter St. Michael. That's the research that we've done using our map and getting out of the vehicle and walking to explore the addresses and so on. That's what D&J Drives does. We are a father-son duo whose mission is to showcase the road network in Barbados. By the time we have concluded our drives, you can use us as almost as a digital map, a video map. So to the right here, it's quite a controversy right now, because the lands here on the right, which used to belong to the Family Planning Association, not belong to, but that building right ahead, a light blue building, that's where the Family Planning Association operated. And then I gather these burnt out buildings on the right were some sort of medical facility back in the day, and it goes all the way back. There's controversy because that building, that all of this land to the right was recently vested in the Afrexim Bank, which is an African development bank. And apparently, based on what I've read in the press, Afrexim Bank is supposedly moving its headquarters to Barbados. That is subject to correction. That's just what I read. And if that were to happen, Barbados is going to expect great things therefrom. But it's a big controversy right now because many people are objecting to lands being given to Afrexim Bank. This is Boatyard on the left. One time, one of the more popular places to Lime. And all of this peeling to the left is where the Hyatt Hotel is going. That was also controversial because they protested that it was going to be too tall and it wasn't going to be in keeping with Barbados' theme and all sorts of things. This is Independence Square, where Errol Barrow's statue is located. You can see him right there behind that gazebo. So So it seems that every time there's some planned development in Barbados, there's a protest. There's always a complaint or some sort of argument against development for whatever reason. From my time here, every time a government proposes development, there's a protest. So as my son put it, if it were up to certain people, Barbados wouldn't have the ABC highway. There was a protest for that. Barbados wouldn't have the Central Bank Tower. Barbados wouldn't have so many things, because every time there's development, even in paving roads, there's a protest. So were it not for persistence, Barbados would just probably be undeveloped. Who knows? All of these people on the left here take these catamaran cruises, and they use this boardwalk, which was also controversial when it was being constructed, by the way. There's a pierhead. The pierhead right here is being redeveloped by a private investor. I can't recall if there was a protest against that. But that pierhead redevelopment is going to redefine Bridgetown. So we've just driven through Bridgetown with no big fanfare. Very beautiful town. And we are now on Hink Street, facing a traffic light. This blue building on the right, this is where you can find the immigration department. This is the entrance right here. This is where we go to get work permits and so on, passports. And this area here is the Princess Alice Highway. And you can see the sea right to our left. Pelican Village. This area here was magical at the World Cup, Cricket World Cup. I remember coming to a park and ride, and you had to park somewhere by where the Hyatt is going, and the taxi drove you into the Kensington Oval. And that Pelican Village was so beautifully lit and decorated. It was evening time, and it was magical because it felt so, there was so much energy that it felt so successful. Barbados was on display for the world, and it was a very proud moment for Barbados hosting those matches. When you travel to far places and you experience things like that, you think the world of it. And here we had it right here in Barbados. It's a very nice experience. So this is the LC Payne roundabout, and we've done drives from here. But this drive is taking us from Oistins all the way up the west coast. And here we have the majesty of the Kensington Oval to our right. I hear them referring to it as the Mecca, the region's Mecca. Lovely facility. On the left is the submarine. I can't remember the name of that organization there, that company, but that's where you can get submarine rides. Very nice, a bit scary, but beautiful to go into those submarines and just look into the ocean, just to see the sea life, marine life. Really nice. So this is the Mighty Griner Highway. Oh no, they've cut off access. That is not certain what that is. I don't think that's the protest. I think that may be UE's Carnival. We have to make a change here. So we're gonna drive through. That's really unfortunate that we've lost that that drive along the highway there, because you will be missing the beauty of the Mighty Griner Highway and getting to see the sand on those lovely beaches all through Brighton. So we have cut through Deacons. This is taking us through Deacons, and we did a drive through here as well when we explored the parish of St. Michael. And we're going to encounter lots of traffic right now, because with everyone turning through here, it must be difficult. So you are experiencing this with us. Somehow we missed that event. We weren't aware that there was an event on the Mighty Griner Highway, formerly known as Spring Garden Highway. So if we didn't have that Mighty Griner Highway and the ABC Highway, this is what Barbados would be like. We would have to rely on these roads. And of course, a lot of this information is anecdotal for me, because I wasn't here when the Central Bank building was being constructed and the ABC Highway and so on. But from what I've been told, there were protests against all of these things. And this is old Barbados, this Deacons Road. So geographically, the ocean is behind us, because that's where the highway is. We are moving inland to hit Blackrock Main Road and then continue our drive. can see the beauty of these old houses here, these old style. This is a classic chattel house structure on the left. This turnoff is a bit of a disappointment, but we'll make the most of it. We won't cut it out of the drive, we'll just leave it so that you can experience it with us. You have to have some level of skill to navigate these roads. A lot of them are very narrow, and you have trucks and large vehicles using it, and you have to be able to navigate your way through narrow spaces. So all of this area here is called Deacons. There's a basketball court there, and this area is very popular. It's lower income housing, and there's a lot of government planning as well. Townhouses. It's heavily populated. You can see some of the townhouses on the right. So some of the owners put their properties in unique colors so you can see where one ends and the next begins. I always wonder what would happen if there were to be a fire in one kitchen, how that would affect the other homes. You can see more of those townhouses on the left. Can see all the residents all around left and right enjoying their Saturday afternoon. to the Blackrock main road. Having left Deacons to rejoin the highway at whatever point it is accessible, because there's some sort of an event taking place on the highway, which is on the coast, or the coast view I should say, because the highway turns off a bit, but it would be considered the coast road nonetheless, because it's the only major road closest to the coast. I'm not certain whether it's the UE Carnival or some other event. This is the psychiatric hospital to our left, which we've just passed. This is the end of it. We are in Blackrock. So you can see how much traffic there is in Barbados. It's not a big place, but there's so many cars that you can take a long time to get to places. Coming up to the right here, something we love to see, these old design houses. Very West Indian, very Barbadian. And if you look down there on that camera, you can just see how many cars are ahead of us. We have to make our way through that, and we don't want to turn off onto the right where this car is going, to go through to Grisette's as we did on exploring the parish of St. Michael Drive, because we want to maintain the integrity of this drive as much as possible. So we're driving alongside the Mighty Griner Highway, which is to our left, with properties and businesses and Deacons in between where we are and the highway. So this left turn takes us back down to the Mighty Griner Highway, but we won't venture there because we already know there's an event. So there will be some sort of diversion down there. So we just make our way through Blackrock. We're nearly there. We get out at the end of Blackrock by the Frank Worrell roundabout, and then rejoin the coast drive from there. course, there's still lots of restaurants and so on in here. There's Carlton Complex, there's a credit union, Little Caesars, there's an ATM, big grocery store, Carlton. Right ahead of us there's the St. Stephen Parish Church. That's the church, the burial ground there. So to our left is the coast, the west coast of Barbados, but of course these homes in Blackrock are separating us and the highway. This Blackrock main road runs parallel with the highway. KFC Blackrock, you see the traffic similar to the one in Oistins. Many years ago in the late 1990s, there was a real popular video store there. You can go and rent CDs, movies. In the older days, there used to be videos, but then they turned them into CDs. Nowadays, you don't have things like that because everything is on YouTube or Netflix. So we're coming to the end of this Blackrock main road, and you can see a road right now to the left. That is the tail end of the Mighty Griner Highway, which we should have come along on, but due to the event with the police detour, we turned into Deacons onto Blackrock Main Road to this point. And here we have the Frank Worrell roundabout ahead of us, and oh, the road is closed there as well. You can see the sign says road closed. So we now rejoin the coast road. Unfortunately, you lost piece of it, but I'm sure you can use your imagination and use some of our other drives to see what that would have been like from just about when we turned into Deacons, just after the submarine center, where you can get the submarines. That's where we turned off. So you lost piece of the coast drive there from the Barbados submarine operation. This right turn here is to take you to the Usain Bolt Stadium, and you can see the ocean right there on the left. This is going into St. James. We are about to exit St. Michael. We know this because the sign says Prospect St. James here as well as here. So we are officially in St. James. We researched this as well when we did our exploring St. James and St. Michael drives. This project called for a lot of research in terms of the boundaries and so on in Barbados. Sometimes an area can be so small that you can't tell when you exit and enter certain areas. And you can see that every square mile in this country is well used. And it's also very clean for the most part. And it allows for a nice tourist product. I had a chance encounter with tourists from the UK, and he was boasting that this was his 27th visit to Barbados over 30 years. And 27 out of 30 because of COVID. And I asked him, what brings you to Barbados? What is so magical about Barbados that you keep returning? And when he returns, he's not coming for 1 or 2 weeks. This is someone who comes to Barbados for months at a time, 27 times. And he said his reason for coming to Barbados is that there's nothing wrong with it. He can't find anything wrong with it. So where he lives, he jumps on a train, takes the Elizabeth line, gets to the airport, he says in less than an hour at Heathrow, and then hits Heathrow and then gets to Barbados in 7 or 8 hours or whatever it is. And then he's right here, and he just has been coming here. He can't find anything wrong with it. He says there's nothing wrong with it. And he knows of several Canadians and UK nationals like himself who just come here all the time. This is their preferred spot. So D&J Drives gives you the opportunity to see the raw Barbados, the inside of it, the traffic, the areas of supposed poverty, the areas of wealth, the not so nice roads, the lovely roads, the good, the bad, and the ugly. D&J Drives is not about driving you through St. Lawrence Gap and showing you 2 or 3 beaches and calling that Barbados. That is not what Barbados is. That's what a part of Barbados is, but this is also Barbados. And we are very proud to do this. It has taken, we've been doing this for over a year now. And at some point we will stop or take a break because we would have covered the whole island once we complete the Exploring the Parishes series. We still have St. George and St. Thomas to do, the last 2 parishes, and then we'll take a break. But we're very proud of what we've done. This is Derrick's in St. James, and all along here on the left, all of these properties open out onto the sea, onto the beach. They have a panoramic view of the sea. All of these properties on the left. And these on the left are very high-end properties as well. So the Barbados product isn't one-dimensional. If you are coming here on a very generous budget or a very modest budget, there's a place for you. You can find a place to stay in Barbados irrespective of your budget. So this is, you can see the waves breaking right there on the left. Lovely part of St. James. The monument to the Cubana airline that crashed is right there on the left. And the sign says Paynes Bay Fisherfolk Association. This is Paynes Bay. There's a little fish market there on the left. And right next to the fish market is these high-end properties with the electric gates and high walls and fences. There's the sign there, Trini Doubles now open, right next to Fame the Grooming Club. And as we approach Holders Hill, there's a little secret here that we discovered. If you look to the right, you will see a small structure here with some pink signs, pink and green. This is Fuchsia, a lovely place to come and get your brownies and your bubble tea and other nice milkshakes. And it's right next to the Roti Den. Earlier we mentioned the Indian Grill on the south coast. Well, that Roti Den, those are two nice places to get a good roti. Good roti, maybe it is not at the exact standard as you would get in say Trinidad and Guyana, but still good nonetheless. Highly recommended. And then you can get some nice desserts at Fuchsia. So we're going all along the west coast now. Highway 1. Pass one sandy lane on the left, which is synonymous with Rihanna, and the cars parked on the right are there to enjoy the beach to the left. You just cross the road and you get to one of the more spectacular beaches in Barbados, just behind one sandy lane. This nice area here we covered in our Exploring the Parish of St. James series. This is Sandy Lane Hotel to the left and to the right. The illustrious Sandy Lane Hotel. So we enter Holetown, another area of controversy, as mentioned earlier. Soon from now we will pass the area of contention. So to the left, high-end, high-income housing solutions and resorts. Some of these places go for, you know, 500, 600, 700 US a night plus. This is Barbados' Platinum Coast, by the way. Speaks to great affluence privilege. You have the Sandy Crest Medical Center on the right, which is a 24-hour medical facility. When you see a vehicle with an H, such as the one in front of us, that H stands for hired vehicle. That's how you know if it's a vehicle that someone rented. For you can see this red British Post telephone booth, gives you a sense of the area. And then you have Tides Restaurant on the left, very upscale, nice restaurant. Yeah, so these H's they stand for hired, and then you know that someone rented it. It may or may not be a tourist, because locals rent vehicles as well. But sometimes you can get a sense if it's a tourist or a local. A lot of them tend to be tourists or people here on business for a few days. So we're in the heart of Holetown now. This is the Holetown Public Center, which is the source of all of this contention. So all of this is to be demolished in favor of a 5-star hotel. And this monument to the left with the 2 cannons, the government has explained that that site, that monument will remain, and that gives a history of the area. Monument is associated with when the British first came to Barbados and established it as a colony. And some people are saying that by selling that facility, the government is throwing away the heritage. But the minister responsible made the point that those buildings are in fact modern buildings, but the monument will be retained. And then there's another hotel going on the left here, Royalton, big international brand. That as well has become a sense of a center of controversy as well. So the minister's point is that the government isn't throwing away its heritage by selling the area, because those are not historical buildings. They are newer buildings, and their point is that the construction of this big facility will benefit Barbados in the long run. St. James Parish Church on the left. So this area here should be familiar to many of our regular viewers. We've done this a few times. But this is the first time we're doing a drive from Oistins to this point. turn off on the right. It's the Royal Westmoreland. As we make our way along Highway 1. And you can see how many trees. They allow for a lot of shade. It gives you a nice feel of the area. It's very exclusive, very private. Driving out here is a nice feel. It feels very comfortable and adventurous. Of course, the big yellow buses do take away from some of that enjoyment. Lone Star Restaurant and Hotel on the left. All of this is fancy area out here. You have Juma's Restaurant. They used to be in Speightstown many years ago. And of course, St. Francis Catholic Church. So we passed 3 Catholic churches, St. Dominic's, St. Patrick's, that's when we were talking about the Frexham Bank. We passed that one, and now we've passed St. Francis. So that's Christchurch, St. Michael and St. James. There's actually a Catholic church just behind Deacons in Blackrock. When we turned out of Deacons, we took a left to go on to the Blackrock main road, but had we turned right, we would have driven right into the Catholic church. So that's 4 that we traversed. Approaching St. Peter now. Then you get a nice view of the sea here. Very nice view. That's the old Barbados fire station there on the left. John Moore Bar. Less traffic now, just a nice drive. The closer you go to the north, you get to the north, it's less traffic on this road. So all out here is Lower Carlton and St. James. And we are about to enter St. Peter. I know there's a sign somewhere, or there used to be a sign somewhere out here saying welcome to St. Peter. This area here is Gibbs. There it says Gibbs St. Peter. Mullins, St. Peter. Those are two powerful names in St. Peter, Gibbs and Mullins. When you hear of people living in Gibbs and Mullins, expect some real nice fancy homes. Those are very expensive places. Of course, you do have some areas in Gibbs and in Mullins that are not as expensive, but for the most part, those are very well-to-do areas for the most part. So nothing is ever in absolute terms. There's nowhere that is 100% one way or the other. For the most part, Mullins, definitely. There's a nice beach here on the left, the Mullins Beach. You can see the waves breaking. Nice restaurant as well. Here we see road view in St. Peter. It's now Highway 1B, so it changes from 1 to 1B all along on this highway. So to stick along the coast, we're going to drive through Speightstown. Turn off the highway and enter Speightstown onto Queen Street. Just like that, D&J Drives took you from Oistins to Bridgetown to Holetown to Speightstown in one drive along the coast from Oistins to the north. Here we see a sanitation services lorry collecting the garbage, doing their civic duty to keep the streets clean and keep everyone healthy. salute to them. I've mentioned before that we have a regular viewer and he's a subscriber as well. He works with sanitation and he follows our drives. This is a special shout out to him. So we all along the west coast. Fisherman's Pub on the left there. You can see the ocean on the left. So the purpose of this drive is to just do a coast scene, a coastal journey from south to north. But the benefit of that is that you've covered all of the towns in Barbados in one go. There are 4 towns in Barbados: Bridgetown, Holetown, Speightstown and Oistins. So that's a plus. And then you can use this drive as well to show you how to move around. If you're planning a visit to Barbados and you're doing some reconnaissance, you can use D&J drives to show you what to do. So we're back on the highway now, and we are staying as close to the coast as possible. There goes a monkey and there goes another monkey. So to the left, an area, an old hotel. Development to the right, Haywards, and to the left is Port St. Charles, luxury resorts, villas. They also have a nice restaurant in there, and facilities to host parties, bank dinners and company dinners, Christmas parties. And then just to the left here, there's a lovely beach, public beach, nice calm waters. Port Ferdinand to the right here. Make our way over this bridge, this lift bridge, which allows access for vessels going into Port Ferdinand. Port St. Charles and Port Ferdinand both have facilities for yachties, owners of villas who come here by yacht as well. Make our way into Six Men's Fishing Village. Nice quaint area. It's literally a fishing village. see the waves breaking there. And then we stay along the coast and we head towards Moontown. All of these properties enjoy access to the sea. The Fish Pot restaurant, lovely place to eat. And this is Sherman St. Lucie. Once we turned off there, exited Six Men's Village, and we turned left, we entered St. Lucie just after the Fish Pot Hotel, the Fish Pot restaurant, and you can see the top of the island. All of these homes on the left enjoy a view of the ocean. And then this turn pulls us away from it as we make our way into St. Lucie. So there's no more coast, because there's no road close to the coast from here. You can just get to certain points where you can see the ocean, but for the most part the coast drive ends there. So D&J Drives is saying goodbye, thanking you for being with us on this drive from Oistins to Checker Hall, St. Lucie. It is now 4:15 on Saturday the 22nd of March 2025. We thank you for your attention. We thank you for your support. We thank everyone who is now subscribing to us and sending us messages publicly and privately to give us ideas on drives and to critique our work. On behalf of D&J Drives, we're thanking you and asking you to please share this drive with your friends and family who live overseas, who may be Barbadian, living abroad, or just people who want to come here on vacation. Until next time, bye.